The excitement continues as we ramp up for week 2 of the VPL Preseason Invitational. The players are ready, we are ready, so let's get things started.
What does it take to mold a champion? Shape your destiny. Hone your craft. In mobile esports, it doesn't get any bigger than this. Today is where the molding begins, the preseason, where teams have the chance to establish their rhythm as a new 5-player team, try out strategies and gel as a group in preparation for a historic run for the championship. The VPL Preseason Invitational begins now.
The 5v5 Vainglory action continues with an exciting slate of North American competitive matches this afternoon. Tribes, Slimy Salamanders, and TSM all look to stay undefeated in their matches today. We'll preview them all coming up. Hello and welcome to our preseason studios here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I am Erica Ishii and I am joined by two of Vainglory's most recognizable talents, Tasty Bacon and Flash X. Guys, it has been an exciting start to the season, but what are you looking forward to seeing in the North American games this afternoon?
I want to see if these North American teams are going to be able to adapt and start to imitate a little bit of what we've seen from Europe.
The macro play out of Europe, absolutely phenomenal. Definitely want North America to transition a little more aggressive, continue their decisive play, but close out these games much quicker.
So one of the biggest stories has to be the incredible play from Europe so far. So is North America going to be able to catch up to them?
I think the quality of the talent in North America will definitely be able to adapt and improvise and become much stronger as a region, start to implement some of those strategies that we've seen out of EU.
North America might hate me for saying this, but Europe definitely better as far as the macro play went in week 1. And I think if the two regions clashed, Europe actually would have came out on top, which is something we've never seen in the history of Vainglory. They're the European results from earlier today. Team Queso with the win, clash over Rising Lotus and Salty Potatoes taking down Wolves Esports.
Yeah, most of what we would have expected, a lot of the favorites ended up coming out on top. Although Wolves gave Salty Potatoes a little bit of a run for our money, they still ended up with the victory. And you see Sneaky took to Twitter right after their games. 3-0 so far, as expected. But let's see how long we can survive versus Team Clash tomorrow. I love that they have that confidence to know that they expected to be 3-0, but still enough humility to say, okay, but Clash, that's a different animal.
Exactly. Leon at the head of Clash, absolutely immaculate macro control. Talk about it so much, them being able to decide when exactly they want to go and take these objectives, and they just close out games when you don't even expect it. It's absolutely incredible.
So a lot of exciting moments this morning, nothing too surprising in the results. But, it has been interesting to watch different teams and their hero selections. So here we have right now some of the most utilized heroes in the North American region so far. As you can see, Tony, Samuel, Kroll, Celeste, they've all been picked the most so far out of any hero. Any surprises here, guys?
Not really. Kroll and Celeste, the dominant duo for sure. I would be shocked if we saw any more of those two heroes being on the same team. Tony skyrocketing to the top of the meta, especially in that captain position, and then Samuel, just a great other alternative for that mid lane as far as Crystal Power mages go.
Yeah, the only real surprise there is heroes that aren't in that top 4. I'm surprised to see Reza not there for North America. I'm really surprised that we haven't really been seeing the Varya be prioritized by either region as well. So there's a little bit of surprises in who's not there, but it's not really that surprising to see that those are the 4 that have been the most picked.
Well, speaking of heroes, one of the biggest stories so far shaking up the community is the release of a brand new hero. Maline is going to be unleashed on the competitive gaming circuit next Saturday during week 3 of the VPL Preseason Invitational. But you actually don't have to wait. If you want to start playing her right now, then tweet us at #VPL and either #Lightform or #Shadowform for a chance to win a free unlock.
Yeah, and it's obviously we're going to be giving away one at the end of each broadcast as well. So we already had one winner over in Europe. There's going to be another winner at the end of today and 2 more winners tomorrow. So make sure you get on that social media if you want a chance to get Maline for free.
Definitely.
She's such a good hero.
Huge kudos to SCMC pushing that skill ceiling and the skill cap of these heroes to the absolute limit. These super mechanically gifted players definitely going to be a hero that they are able to have a ton of fun with. just because there's so much you can do with her.
Yeah, I mean, I got my chance to play her a couple times when, the community chose not to insta-lock her so I could get a chance. But even on, I was sitting on really, iffy Wi-Fi and was still able to have a blast with her, even with, a lot of lag on my end. But it was still so much fun. I got to play her once smoothly. And it was just, I almost felt like I wasn't good enough to be playing the hero because there's, you can just see how she combos together and how you can play, the upper limits of her potential. And I just knew I wasn't going to be anywhere close to hitting that.
Do you think we're going to see her in play at all next week? And is that going to change things?
If she doesn't get banned, she will definitely get played.
Yeah, that's a challenge then,
She we may not see her on the rise at all because she may just be banned every single game.
Right. Can you tell me a little bit about what Tribe's up to so far this season?
I mean, Tribe, I think, has come out looking like what we expected when you look at this roster on paper. A very familiar roster. The former Cloud9 roster being absorbed into Tribe, the top 2 organizations in North America, arguably from last year, becoming one. And when this roster was announced, so many players were just like, well, this is done. Why are we even going to play anymore? But, some of these teams have started to make a name for themselves and started to kind of push back against this Tribe.
Yeah, definitely a powerhouse of a team on paper. The best roster in probably all of Vainglory. I mean, no offense to any of the regions, but you take the 2017 World Champions, pair them up with the team that took 3rd place at the World Championship, definitely the best 2 teams in North America. They are definitely on the right path for doing great things on the Sovereign's Rise.
A lot of good individual players, and how are they gelling together so far as a team?
That's actually what's been very surprising is I was a little concerned about how well they would mesh because they were such heated rivals for a time, but they came together so quickly. They've been adapting. They've been using this preseason as their chance to kind of come together and figure out where they want to go. They've been swapping up positions. Max Green now playing in the top lane with Gabe Vizel and back as the captain. So it's a lot to look forward to.
All right, so it looks like we're in the draft right now. So let's jump in for pick and ban.
And we see Taka and Celeste already being taken off the board. Not really much surprise there, but there's that Samuel pick. We actually didn't see Samuel prioritized too heavily in Europe today, but North America, they have been very big on this one.
Definitely not Europe's meta mid laner. It does seem like they prefer Varia quite a bit more. Samuel's still super effective. We did see some pretty good Samuel gameplay out of Europe, but yeah, these bans definitely make a lot of sense. Celeste, not a hero you want to give over, especially at the hands of Old School, who's an absolutely phenomenal Celeste player. Vision Gaming, taking a page out of Europe's draft book, picking up that Lyra first. The question is, do they leave Tony on the board for Tribe, though?
I don't think they should. I think if you go for the Tony here, this is what a lot of teams have been, really wanting to prioritize, but they are going to take the Kroll instead. So Tony will be available if Tribe would like to go that route. And I think it would just, at this point, Tribe, I don't know if they need to force that pick out unless they're worried that it's going to get banned away, because with a Kroll already on the board and the Lyra, it is highly unlikely that Tony actually ends up being a pick for Vision Gaming. But obviously Tribe, they don't want it to get banned away from them, so they're just going to go ahead and grab it.
Gabe Vizel very comfortable on Tony, definitely a hero that he's been putting a ton of time into. I'm assuming that we're still going to see him in that captain position again this week. I think that he really seemed a lot more comfortable. I think Tribe as a whole seemed a lot more comfortable when he was in that role and putting Max Green up in that top lane. Reza coming off the board, though, another page out of the European draft book. That is not something that Vision wants to give over to the hands of Tribe, because whether it's Joseph or T-Tigers, whoever's stepping up into that jungle role, both of them are very good Reza players.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see if that Koshka is going to come through. Tribe was one of the only teams to run that pick. It was T-Tigers absolutely decimated with. He got such a large early lead. It plays very similarly to the Reza in that, very quick jump in, try and assassinate a target, and then jump out of a team fight and get yourself to safety. So we could easily see the Koshka be a pick for Tribe. And that's one of the things that makes Tribe so dangerous, is just how deep all of their hero pools are individually.
Absolutely. Vox coming out, that's something that we saw played a little bit in Europe, banned once or twice this morning, I believe. So definitely a good pickup for Vision. I believe that that is a comfort pick for them. So it'll be interesting to see how Tribe responds. I think Vision knows that Tribe also likes to run the Rona pick a fair amount, so Vox definitely a good counter to that. Just kind of being a little bit preemptive. Tribe going for that Idris, though.
Yeah, Idris, and then a Gwen going to come through. Now, Gwen, this is one of those years when 5v5 first dropped, everyone was playing Gwen. You could not go a game without seeing a Gwen somewhere on the rise. So the fact that we haven't really seen her too much in the preseason just already speaks to how much things have adapted and changed. But I like that Tribe are going back to this pick because I do still think there's a lot of strength with her. You can check brushes safely by just throwing a buckshot into a brush and seeing if there's someone lurking. You have that 1v1 potential with the aces high, so a really strong pick, and also breaking out of crowd control. We've talked about how important crowd control is on 5v5. Being able to negate even just a little bit of it can be so strong.
Yeah, a ton of flexibility right now in Tribe's draft. I'm assuming it's going to be Samuel in the mid lane, but where Gwen and Idris go, that's really a toss-up, really hard to predict. Gwen actually very strong on the top lane with her skedaddle. That's typically the lane that gets ganked the most, so the fact that she has that skedaddle to be able to get out of that can make her very strong up there. Idris, there's also been some rumors that in North America, Idris getting quite a fair amount of play coming out of the jungle, so I think that that would be very interesting to watch as well. But Vision pairing that Scarf now with the Krull and the Lyra, I really like the synergy between those three heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of just lockdown and then just letting Scarf burn through people on the backside of it. We actually have seen TSM run a very similar composition to what Vision have drafted here. And Vision is this team that I almost expect unconventional drafts out of them. And so when they have a team composition like this, a very conventional draft style, it's almost the unexpected for them, because you're looking for, okay, what are they going to do weird? What kind of trick are they going to try and pull out? And that's the trick this time, is there is no trick.
Exactly. I think that they're learning that now they're in the big boys league. They coming up through challengers, now competing in the VPL. There's not as much room to have as much fun with Vainglory. Things are serious. These are professional teams. And if they want to win, sometimes you do have to conform to that meta. Certainly, there are situations where you can go off meta. It can be very good. Very situational, but I really like that they're going a little bit more traditional in today's matchup. I think that that's something that's going to be really good for them in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is still the one pick left for them to go something off the wall, but we'll see. It is going to be a Grace for Tribe. So again, we've seen Grace as both a carry and a captain. I would expect it to end up being in the carry role this time around, though, because Max Green loves to play this weapon Grace, loves to just be that super aggressive top lane bruiser with it. But now, again, you open up of who's going to be jungling now. Are you going to have the Idris in the jungle? Are you going to put something like the Grace in the jungle? Like there's a lot of questions of who's going to be where for Tribe.
I think based on just knowing these teams, Max Green definitely, Grace is one of his comfort picks. The fact that he's been a captain for so long, and Grace traditionally played as a captain, that's a hero that he knows inside and out. I'm sure he's been putting a ton of time, definitely between the first weekend and now, to make sure he's expanding his hero pools. That's something that all these players, as they find themselves in these new positions, is something they're going to have to be focused on and making sure they're developing. So I'm still predicting that Max is going to be on the Grace in the top lane. It's going to be a jungle Idris, which I expect Isle of Joseph to play.
And then an Alpha as the final pick for Vision Gaming. This is a very aggressive pick alongside the Krull especially. Those two are going to be looking to dive deep onto the back lines of Tribe. And if they can be successful, if they can find success, especially early in the game, this is a hard snowballing composition. This is a composition, if they get a lead, then they can really just close out a game quickly.
Yeah, definitely super tanky and something that Tribe's definitely going to watch out for.
Awesome. Well, the picks are in, gentlemen. So let's take a closer look at the players that you think we should be focusing on during this match. All right, Flash, you go first.
Max Green, Tribe Gaming, switching. He started off Saturday in that captain role, switching into the top lane. Everyone thought coming into the season that Gabe Vizzle was going to be that top laner. They've now switched. Max Green is in that top lane. He looked really comfortable, again, on the Grace that we saw last weekend. Even though Hammers was putting on a ton of pressure on him into this top lane, he was making sure he was doing top laner things, farming under turret safely. Basically, the goal is just to survive, don't get put too far behind. And as long as he can continue to do that, I really think he's going to be successful in this role.
Yeah, he was really able to do a great job of not getting pressured too heavily. And that's something that Grace can struggle with. She doesn't have the sustainability that other heroes like we saw in that matchup the Rona has. So to be able to hold on to a lane and not fall behind it all is very impressive. But on the other side of the Rise, we have to be focusing on Pool this game. You go back to last week, the one game that Vision had, Pool did not have a strong performance. He did not look very good, and there's really no other ways to talk about it. He was very much focused every single time. He was playing the Batiste, had almost no impact on the game, was falling very early in every team fight, and if Pool has a better performance, if he makes an impact on Batiste, that game versus Slightly Salamanders is completely different, likely with Vision on top.
Absolutely. In his defense, he's new to this level of gameplay. He's still adjusting. I think that any player...
That's why we got to watch him. We got to see how he's going to adapt, how he's going to adjust to being at this level.
Yeah, we're just watching the most interesting players on the field right now. So we are just moments away from the start of the match. But before we begin, I really want to hear what Vision Gaming has to do in order to take down Tribe, which was one of the most impressive teams last week.
It's going to be difficult. I think with the composition that they have, they need to be aggressive right out of the gate. They need to be looking for invades. They need to be looking to steal away jungle camps, put pressure on those lanes, especially if you can make that Grace or the Idris, either one of those two, you put them behind, you will find yourself into a very strong position as you go later into the game.
Both Gwen and Idris take a little bit longer than most heroes to kind of ramp up. If Cruel and Alpha are able to apply a lot of early game pressure early on, and they can translate that early game lead, if they're able to build one into that mid game, and then they can start controlling the Ghost Wing when it comes online and just pressuring all the turrets around the entire map, that is what they need to do in order to find success here today.
And of course, it's really easy to say that against a team like Tribe, it's very difficult to execute because they're going to know that that's coming. They're going to know, okay, their win condition is to be aggressive early and try and win these early matchups. So I expect Tribe to adapt around that and play maybe a little bit safer right after that, or counter the aggression with aggression of their own, try and make these plays before their opponents have a chance to react. If it goes into the mid to late game and Vision doesn't have that large lead, there is still opportunity because you have this Lyra. You can really, try and bait out opponents, try and catch them off guard, split the team, use the Lyra portals to get onto an individual target. We saw Tilt Rehab do this a couple of times against TSM last week. It's a way you can get yourself back into a game if you've fallen behind.
Do you think that Tribe has been the best in North America so far? Or if not, where do they fall in that order?
I mean, let's be real. I'm super biased. I gotta give it over. I gotta give it over to my boys at TSM. No, they did look sloppy. TSM did in week 1, and I think Tribe looked pretty good, but definitely a huge opportunity for them here today to be able to prove that their mechanics, they've studied EU more, and they've adjusted to that really clean macro play that we've seen out of Clash.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Tribe is going to be easily top 2. It's tough to say who's top 1 just because we haven't seen as many games from all the teams. We have only seen one game from a few of these teams. So after this week, once these 3 games are concluded and then the 3 tomorrow, I think we'll have a much clearer idea of who is actually number 1 in the region.
Okay, and do you have a top 2, top 3 as well?
TSM Tribe, I can't wait for them to battle out, not just in the preseason, but especially once the real season gets online, once the stakes are raised much higher. Those are going to be the matches that I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
And for me, I'm really looking forward to what Vision Gaming can do. Coming into this season, Vision Gaming at the end of last year was one of the teams I was most anticipating getting into the Vainglory Premier League, or the VG8 last year as it was in the 3v3 format. So I really want to see them be able to continue their trend, their constant rise and constant improvement.
All right, well, the game is just underway, so let's take you inside Sovereign's Rise right now.
Well, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the Rise. We have Tribe versus Vision Gaming, and we'll be kicking this off very quickly. Some fights potentially as they're going to skirmish over some Vision early on. I'm Humanist. I'm joined by Denam Nomine. Noms, how you feeling, bud?
I'm doing great, and let me tell you, I am excited to watch Tribe play here. Obviously, they were talking on the desk about Gabe Vizzle and Max Green switching roles, that top lane and jungle position. And Gabe Vizzle has really been an absolutely fantastic Captain Tony. And when you build that really tanky route, and you combine that with the Come At Me perk, it's just a really difficult front line to deal with. He provides that stun as well, the team displacement with that bada boom. So interested to see some plays come out of him today.
Yeah, he's definitely very disruptive on this pick and can be kind of a bully even early on in the lane. He'll be in mid, hanging out there. Max will be up by himself up in the top lane. And of course, down at bottom, it's going to be DNZO with I Love Joseph, just making that rotation through the jungle. All calm across the map right now. How does the aggression play out in this game?
Well, we'll have a lot of early aggression coming out of Tribe, specifically with Gabevizzle on that captain. Even
Max
going
Green might be going down. That's going to be first blood up in the top lane. That is actually too easy. Kroll was able to get on target, and he couldn't run away.
Yeah, Kroll with that weapon buff specifically is a really, really big gank potential no matter who your enemy target is. Specifically looking up in the top lane, Max Green on the Grace can dish out a lot of single target damage as well as some AoE splash on the back of the Retribution, that second attack coming out of the basic attacks. And you know, that's something we'll have to watch out for. Grace does not have the escape potential that some of the other top laners or other laners like Arona or a Glaive or even a Jewel will have that way to disengage. So Max Green does have to play a little bit more cautious in the top lane so that he doesn't get too far behind.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mix, right? Hold on, Invulnerable taking a lot of damage here in mid. He's going to pop that flash, turn it around on Gabevizzle. Spectral Smite coming through, Gabe dropping low. Even getting hit with a Spitfire there, but he will be okay. Invulnerable empowers himself up in the brush, but he's going to go ahead and move up towards top because it looks like they found Max over on that healing camp there. They'll go ahead and zone him out, see if they can steal it away. That's exactly how you want to go ahead and bully the laner right there. Take that region camp, you know, get a little damage on him as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Gabevizzle was able to make it out of that skirmish in the mid lane. That perk definitely helping him out. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, we have DNZO and Joseph. They are going to try to put the pressure on Neon Fire and force that wave under turret. And I like that because Alpha, again, just like Grace, does not have that ability to escape. Instead, does have that additional health bar, though. So trying to abuse and push Neon Fire back will slow down some of those rotations, and it really makes it a little bit more difficult for Neon to get out of the spot lane. He doesn't have that opportunity to push.
Gabe got put down by an Imperial Sigil in mid, tried to trade it with Pool, and Pool able to win out on that trade. Nice plays.
Yeah, good plays. A lot going on Sovereign's Rise. A lot bigger than the Halcyon Fold. Still adjusting to trying to spectate the whole map at the same time can prove to be quite difficult. Lightning T was looking for that crystal buff. It is not there for him to take. And Lightning T is actually one player I do want to watch this game as well. Historically, he's had a massive performance in the lane in 3v3, and I'm glad to see him returning to the lane as Max Green is getting pushed underneath the turret here by Lulu.
Yeah, Max getting shoved under the lane, but there's 4 versus 3 here in mid. It's interesting as Tribe makes the kind of collapse in here as with their team, maybe just kind of waiting for that jungle to spawn. Nothing they can take on the map, so they kind of just flex their presence here.
A little bit of damage thrown onto Invulnerable there. That Kroll sitting below half health, still well within healthy reasons for a Kroll to try to make an engagement, but here we go.
The contest of the Crystal Strand,
cool.
And it's going to be picked up by Tribe. A lot of damage actually going out to Vision as well.
Yeah, Pool actually did almost drop there as well. The Chakram coming out of I Love Joseph doing quite a substantial amount of damage. Does have those 5 crystal bits, does have his ranged auto attacks ready to go, and that is a big spike for the Idris, as well as he's now hit level 6. He has that Shimmer Strike available, and now he really has all the tools that he needs to start chaining together those massive combos with that Chakram. And we'll have to see how he uses that. Obviously, we'd like to see that damage get onto the back line, you know, particularly if he can land 1 Chakram through Scarf, who's going to be building very high offense and very low defense. He may be able to force Lightning T out early on in a fight.
Oh, he definitely will. And look at the damage already coming out here. Joseph's just putting a little harass down, but this is 2 level 6s to 2 level 4s. Lightning T has made the rotation down, realizing his team needs some help, but an Ace's Eye is going to connect onto the Scarf. Lightning T, get back! 451 damage. He'll pop the Healing Flash, turn to trade with DNZO. Who's going to take the trade? Lightning T goes down. His teammates can't rotate around to find the help in time. That's an easy kill going their way.
Yeah, we saw Pool coming around trying to assist Lightning T there. Imperial Sigil was still down for a couple seconds, so they were unable to find the kill on D'Anzio. He's going to make it out safely. Now it's 2-1 on the board as Pool taking a bit of damage from Gabevizzle.
A bit of damage. Old School's rotated down. I'm not sure Pool knows, but not really a problem there. They're not willing to really commit into this. But you look at the turret taking massive amounts of damage here. Actually, up in the river right above this. There's a lot of damage coming out here as Invulnerable was locked onto Old School. Now he's in a bad position. Lightning T finally making the rotation back out into the lane as the turret drops down in bottom. It looks like no one's actually going to go down here, but a lot of aggression back and forth.
Yeah, now that Crystal Treant is up. And it looks like Gabevizzle is going to body block out the Spitfires if needed. That one is going to go over to Tribe, extending their gold lead a little bit. They're now sitting about 2,000 in the lead, a little shy. That bottom turret being taken is huge for them, though, because now at any point they can keep that bottom wave shoved up. And that's when we're going to start to see more rotations come out of D'Anzio and I Love Joseph, looking to get up into that mid lane, looking to get up maybe even into that top lane. So we'll have to watch the rotations coming out of Tribe, because Tribe, as of right now, one of the top teams in North America. So they are going to be one of the trendsetters here for how this goes, and Ghostwing getting captured.
Going to be getting captured up down here. Pool getting zoned out. You actually see, it looks like it might be a gank attempt up on top. Vulnerable just moves in. They're just going to lock onto the turret here. An easy turret take. And Max really can't do anything, even with that Ghostwing buff.
Yeah, that was actually really, really good control there by Lulu and Vulnerable. They lost out on their bot turret. They doubled up there in the top. Grace doesn't have the best wave clear right now, especially with just a Storm Crown, can kind of chunk those minions out. But when you have the range of Vox, the Poison Shiv, and Kroll up there, who's already past level 6, has that stun, it's way too risky for Max Green to get caught out. Give up the turret, push on back, and get yourself an opportunity to reset and find a better fight.
Goodness gracious, Lulu is dominating Max Green here. He's got 2 level advantage up in that lane. Down in bottom, it's going to be a jump, and Vulnerable trying to get on target. Little Shimmer Strike to disengage. Zio's going to hit him with the buckshot, turns around, huge weapon damage coming out here. This is now 4 versus 2, but Tribe still hanging around as they have Gabevizzle and Old School making the rotation in from mid, down into bot. Bada Boom's gonna disrupt the fight. Pool with the Arcane Passage. Can he get away? No! One more attack will come on through. That's 2 kills as Vision Gaming dropping like flies down here. Tribe with a huge rotation.
Yeah, Tribe did a great job. Vision, they answered back to losing that bottom turret with a good push top. But Tribe, they were able to find another opportunity where they were able to burst down targets, force the pressure back, and then a great bada boom coming out of Gabevizzle just set Vision Gaming in the worst place possible. Tribe was able to clean up 2 more kills, and they were able to get that tier 2 turret down there in the bot lane.
What an amazing fight. I mean, you take 2, you don't lose anybody. That's a feels good, man. Of course, the professional teams are always looking to take an objective. To just be able to get that objective so cleanly and then rotate right back into mid, that's exactly what this team wants to be doing. And currently, Tribe starting to get this chip damage out onto the mid T1 turret. And it should be a matter of time before this goes down, especially if Vision have to rotate to balance anything on the map at all. Speaking of which, Zio's up in the top lane now with Max Green, and they're going to burn right through this turret. So really Tribe kind of applying pressure all across the map.
Yeah, and that's just what I was mentioning earlier, is that once that first turret down, and now even that second turret, we can see how far the wave is forced up. Look how far back Neonfire is farming his wave right now. He's just now starting to move up, but we've got a fight breaking out.
Fight breaking out for sure here. That's going to be a deletion of Invulnerable right off the bat. Now Tribe looking for blood. Who's it going to be, Pool or Lulu? Pool trying to keep his team alive. I think it's D'Anzio dropping pretty low there, but they're juggling the damage. They turn around, the jump in by Max Green. He's going to be looking to find the kill damage through. Lulu with the Sonic Zoom able to reposition, but the Arcane Passage allows Tribe to chase on through. There's 1 kill. Second kill should be to follow very easily, and Tribe taking another 2, putting those points on the board, increasing their overall net worth advantage. And Old School dropped off of that fight, continues to apply pressure in mid, while the rest of Tribe can apply pressure up in top.
Yeah, and Vision, they did get down that tier 2 bottom turret, but now here comes D'Anzio looking to find the kill onto Neonfire if possible. pretty substantial level and build advantage there, but it's Tribe pushing down that top turret as well. Can they clean this one up? And Vulnerable's here.
Vulnerable is here, turret's down, and Vulnerable taking a whole bunch of damage right off the bat. Now they don't do they have the From Hell's Heart? But this is kind of sketchy. He was thinking about jumping in, but that's the Dead Man's Rush burned to block off the From Hell's Heart, and that's a Phil's bad man right there.
Yeah, it definitely is. Gabe Vizzle, one of the most mechanically skilled captains I've ever really seen in Vainglory, no matter what region you're looking at. And, you know, obviously turning back, blocking that one up, just making sure that his carries are able to get out safely. They maintain their lead 6-2.
Zio's
They're
isolated. They jumped onto Zio. He'll go ahead and reflex, but they're able to get the kill. That was Dienzio overstepping himself in a nice collapse, a nice call by Vision. Let's see if they look for more here.
Yeah, it looks to be a 4-4. Can they get the kills, though?
And Vulnerable wants to jump in, but he's taking way too much damage. It's gonna be the Fountain coming out. They put the Scarf to sleep and put him to death? I don't know. Pull. Gotta get yourself back out of here. Repositions nicely to keep Invulnerable alive just for a short duration. He'll go down as well. Just Tribe able to pick up 2 more, and now this should be mid-turret going down quite easily.
Yeah, Lulu trying to get some split push, but he's found by Dienzio.
Has he been found? Oh, just go ahead and back him off. Not a big deal.
Yeah, but another Ghost Swing now getting started up by Tribe, looking to get that buff, looking to get a little extra gold in their pockets. And with that additional defense, they may be looking to find themselves another fight where they can push down some more objectives. They get another Crystal Treant there. Neon Fire is just going to go ahead and use that Termination Protocol to get out. Now, that's kind of rough for them because now it's going to be a sizable cooldown where Neon Fire's not going to have that additional health bar that he has for his defense.
Absolutely. I'm not sure. Have Vision Gaming picked up one of those Crystal Treants this game? I feel like every single one I've seen Tribe over there taking it.
I saw Lightning T with a crystal buff earlier, but it's been a while, so I have to see what they're able to do here as Tribe's trying to push.
Trying to push here, but Lightning T starting to get to a point where you kind of have to respect the fact that there is a Scarf on the map. You have to kind of dodge out some of these Spitfires. Can't stand in the goop at this point. But definitely still not something that's putting a lot of fear in the hearts of Tribe. Right now, actually, Tribe still sending Lulu into this top lane, forcing Tribe to fight with 4. The Tribe really not caring about that. You see the Drifting Dark, they move forward, Malice and Verdict connecting, the splash damage connecting on 3. Zio's down in bottom, taking the turret and putting damage onto Neon Fire. So Tribe have spread Vision across the map and are just kind of taking advantage of their power spikes here. Like Neon Fire thinking about jumping onto Zio, but they don't see that Gabe Vizzle's made the rotation. He's put into the infinite reboot. Old School's here. Neon Fire is going to get booted up, but taunted back and taken down. Tribe up 9-3. Blood Boom on forward, blocked off though. The turret's going to fall. Pulls low, he's going to go ahead and get back. This should be the armory going down here. I don't think Tribe should be even losing any heroes at this point. They'll take the armory. Could even stick around if they wanted to, but this is a clean objective take and they should get out of here.
Yeah, they're going to be able to get out, and Lulu unfortunately spent a lot of time trying to split push that top turret, was unable to do so. Max Green is scaled up enough that the Storm Crown clears out minions incredibly quickly, especially with that splash hitting onto multiple targets. Looks like he's building into a Shattered Glass as well. That's going to provide a big burst of heal to to whichever one of his teammates needs it at the time, as well as some damage reduction. So Max Green kind of like a second captain here, relying pretty heavily on Old School and I Love Joseph to have a lot of that big sustain damage, and Dienzio to be a very bursty hero trying to get someone down to like an executable health bar level.
Well, trash talk here from Gabe Vizzle, pulling Vision backwards toward Blacklaw. Blacklaw just landing on the map. We're 15 minutes in, 9-3 advantage over the Tribe, and this could be, it could be a game-ending fight here potentially. We're getting to that point in the game right now. And both teams kind of circling around this Blacklaw. A lot of Vision going down. This is the point denominator. I think everybody knows where once this objective comes down, it's like everybody's fighting to just get that Vision advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see Tribe right now clearing out a lot of Vision, but Vision, they have a little bit down themselves. You see that one sitting underneath Blacklaw right now, including that one behind the Blacklaw pit. So those are important Vision marks that Tribe really needs to try to spot out if they want to make a push for that objective.
I think this is also kind of, I don't know if they did this on purpose, but they definitely showed themselves up around Blacklaw, kind of forced this feeling like, hey, we're going to do something here. all of the vision goes down from Vision Gaming, and Tribe has full control of vision down on the Ghost Wing, so they move down. That's an easy take. They'll see him coming from a mile away there. That was really smart.
Yeah, absolutely. And now with that buff, they can start up the Black Claw, and if a fight does come, they'll have that additional barrier, that defense that's going to provide them a little bit of a safety net. Here we go. Big fight potentially breaking out here, though.
Give me the big steal. The silence comes on through, but that's Tribe grabbing the Black Claw. The fight will continue. They're on to Lulu. Lulu with Sonic Zoom back to reposition here. Invulnerable can't tank up the fight. Gets taken out. This is one kill to start this off. Tribe plowing on forward as Vision taking a lot of splash damage. Second kill comes on through, but they've taken down Dienzio. A nice kill for Vision Gaming. The on fire, can he reboot? He will reboot, but he's low. He's chopped down as well. 3 dead for Vision Gaming. Black Claw pushing down mid lane, and Lightning T isolated and not on the side of the map he'd like to be on here. Lightning T, time to dance, buddy. He can't do it. He's taken down. That's the ace. And now Tribe are going to look to just go ahead and push this one on down. These will have a couple players respawning here, but this is Vision Gaming just completely on the back foot.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, Blacklaw does have quite a bit still to go through. He's got the armory, and alone he does not take it very quick. But we see Max Green and Gabe Bizzle here. Can they end the game off this push, though?
I think if they get any kill at all, they definitely can. There's potential that they can end the game even if they don't get a kill, but if anyone goes down, it's a for sure. What do you see? They kind of just all focus their damage down. That's going to be the Vein Crystal getting chopped to pieces. And game 1 going to Tribe. I don't think a lot of surprises there, but you know, Vision Gaming putting in a little bit of work. It was just Tribe, nice rotations and kind of mechanically taking advantage across the map.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Tribe, again, one of the top teams in North America right now, put on a great demonstration here in proving that. Again, they ran kind of a double captain almost scenario here, where the only damage on Max Green was the Storm Crown. And while you will get a little bit from Shatterglass on the Holy Nova and the Benediction, the real benefit here was that massive 950 heal that was coming out of Max Green, helped keeping the rest of the team alive, specifically Old School, giving him the time to build up those Dragon's Eye stacks and really abuse the front line of Vision. So overall, well played by everybody, but Tribe, they take the win here in week 2.
Yeah, I think we could see like as the fight, the long duration of the fight got drawn out there, Tribe's advantage just got stronger and stronger. But what an awesome game 1 to start the day off here for North America Preseason Invitational. I think with that, we'll go ahead and throw it back over the desk, let these guys break it down.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. What a start to the North American Games this afternoon. So, initial thoughts after watching that finish?
I mean, at the finish, it felt like, you know, business as usual, but early in the game, Vision Gaming definitely brought the fight to Tribe a little bit. They were able to try and play towards that early strength, but they unfortunately just were not able to really get enough of a lead early on.
Yeah, huge credit to Vision. Just the fact that they were able to pick up those first 2 kills were huge. Unfortunately, if you're paying attention to the gold differential, Tribe still had the gold lead despite being behind 2 kills. So the fact that Tribe was just, even though they were giving up those deaths, be able to manipulate the rest of the map and get jungle where they needed to get jungle. They had a really good early invade, which I really liked out of them, more similar to the EU play style. Very good stuff, and definitely shows some sign of growth as far as North America goes.
And also a little bit of creativity on the side of Tribe, going for that almost double captain with Max Green building nothing but a Shatterglass for offense.
Yeah, definitely off meta, not something we've seen before. They obviously won the game, but in terms of is that the best build possible? Hard to say. It's definitely more passive. I'm still a firm believer in that aggression is the key to finding success in 3.1, but hey, that might change in the future.
That early lead, that's what you guys were hoping to see, and it didn't quite pan out. But do you feel that there was a pivotal moment in the game? And also, let's take a look and see if we have a highlight of something exciting.
Yeah, there were a couple of times that were really crucial, but right here, when you see that Tribe kind of took full control of the game at this point, they were able to find a team fight, and you see Vision Gaming just almost apprehensive. You know, Neon Fire's down in that infinite reboot. The rest of the team gets there, but they don't really seem to want to commit. And Tribe says, you know what, if you're not going to commit, we'll go ahead and do the committing for you.
Tribe definitely doing a good job managing all their lanes. You did see Lulu Zhu in that top lane split pushing. Tribe recognized that their 4 was stronger than the 4 that Vision had. That's when they decided to press the advantage, and that's what got them that first armory that definitely translated into the rest of the game.
Thanks so much, fellas. Now, as our Vainglory community knows, we are in our temporary studios here in Las Vegas during the preseason, and we've been having a little bit of fun with our setup because we are on a green screen and we can be anywhere, like at a big rock concert. I don't know, any musicians you're looking forward to? You want to go on stage?
We're on a boat. We're on a boat.
Okay,
Let's
now
go.
we're on a boat, though. Our sailing the 7 seas, and we could be in jail. I don't know. I think we're all too pretty for this. And of course, the chicken farm.
I'm surprised there's any left after our lunch. We had a lot of chicken for lunch.
We ate so much chicken for lunch. That was a lot of nugs, you guys. But as much fun as we have here on our set, we can't wait to get into our new digs for the regular season. So let's take a look at that space.
Vainglory Competitive Gaming has a new home in Las Vegas, the Aria Resort and Casino. The PokerGo studio in partnership with ESP Gaming, the name behind the Vainglory Premier League. A state-of-the-art, multi-million-dollar showplace, streaming lounge, and the most advanced tech to bring you mobile esports like never before. Welcome to the new home for the Vainglory Premier League.
Look at that place. All right, well, let's dive into our next game of the day now between Rogue and Slimy Salamanders. Our viewers last week should remember that Slimy Salamanders won what turned out to be the game of the weekend. So let's, come on, take us back. Take us back in time to that marathon there.
Yeah, that was an excellent game. It was Slimy Salamanders and Vision Gaming. Slimy Salamanders going back and forth constantly, came out on top in the end, but such a strong performance from a key members, especially Iraqi Zoro on the Kestrel, making his return to competitive play. But this week, we have to talk about Xenotech. He's going to be coming onto the team, new to the roster in place of Pico, who was another player who had a stellar performance. So Xenotech's going to have to fill those shoes.
Definitely a familiar face to the Vainglory community. Definitely excited to see what he can do with this roster. And I even think he fits this roster better than Pico did, in the sense that he's one of those veteran players that has been around for forever.
I was going to say, if it makes sense to bring anyone on to this particular roster, it's Xenotech. So definitely looking forward to what he's going to be able to do.
All right. We are ready for the draft to begin, so let's take you to the pick and ban between Rogue and Slimy Salamanders. Pick and ban!
Jumping into it, this is going to be a good match. Both these teams looking good in week 1. They had some of the longer matches of the weekend. Hopefully, again, study Europe, North America. Please study Europe, because seriously, their macro play, in all honesty, absolutely phenomenal. They know how to play around these objectives. We shouldn't be seeing 20-plus minute games. Rogue taking Kestrel off the board.
A little bit of a respect ban there after what Iraqi Zoro was able to do with this hero last week. So the question is, though, where are they going to be focusing their draft? You know, are they just going to try and focus on taking away those comfort picks? We know Slimy Salamanders as a roster. We know a lot of these players and their comfort picks from 3v3, so there's a lot of opportunities to do that. But you see again, the Celeste going to be the first pick, Rogue with Evol in the mid lane. That's something that we haven't said until last week. So making that transition, that was what he played last week as well. So obviously going to be one of his comfort picks in the mid lane.
I think out of all the heroes making role swaps on the Sovereign's Rise, I was most impressed with Evol in the mid lane. His mechanics seemed very good. Everyone knows that he's a mechanical mastermind as far as his skill goes. Definitely one of the best captains. Back on the house count full, but now that he's in that mid lane, I think that a lot of those are going to translate. It's all about him expanding his hero pool and making sure that he's on a lot of these mage-based heroes, which are a very different playstyle from a lot of the captains that he's used to.
Yeah, exceptionally different. The positioning as well going to be very important. You know, as a captain previously, you want to be in the thick of things. You want to be in the middle of these fights. Not so with a lot of these mages. So last week we saw, again, started off a little bit shaky, but as the game went on, he looked to get more and more comfortable. But of course, it's only one piece of the puzzle. You have to have a team around you, and that's where something like this Taka is going to be coming in, taking these picks that are hard counters to the Celeste away from their opponents.
Yeah, and not just taking away these hard counters, but if Slimy Salamanders tries to take anything that's very long range and very squishy, Taka is going to be very punishing of that. I really like Slimy answering with the Samuel and the Tony. Those are great picks. Idris seeing a lot more play, especially out of North America here today as well. So we saw it in jungle in that first matchup on I Love Joseph. I don't know if I was sold on how strong it was as a pick in and of itself. Of course, anytime Idris scales into the late game and he gets his items underneath him, he is going to be an absolute monster. But I don't think the correct answer is to try and take those late game scaling heroes. You want these heroes that are winning the game early and often and pushing through these objectives.
At least in the jungle. I like the Idris in the lane because you're getting a lot more gold that way. You're getting to those items much quicker.
Yep.
In the jungle, I completely agree with you. I think you need that early game heroes, the heroes that rely a little bit more on levels as opposed to getting gold. Things like, that's why the Krull and the Taka have been so strong, because they're just all about getting those levels. The Rona going to come through here for the side of Rogue as well, so likely to be the Taka in the jungle. You know, we've occasionally seen Takas in the lane, but I expect this Rona to be in the top lane. You expect to have the Taka jungle. The Captain Arden, again, I'm still really big on the Arden as a captain, even though it hasn't been seeing the most playtime. I still feel it's one of the top captains.
Definitely. I think Rogue has left himself a lot of opportunity across the entire map in terms of how they can flex out the rest of this trap if they wrap things up. Grace, another pick we've seen a lot of today. I would assume it would be in the top lane again for Slimy Salamanders as well. Max Green, a very unconventional build though. All he had was a Storm Crown and defense for the vast majority of the game. He wrapped up his build with a Shadow Glass, which of course, the utility that comes out of the size of that additional healing, super strong. The Divine Intervention on Grace scales with a Shadow Glass. Do you think we're going to see something similar out of the Grace this game?
I would expect to see a little bit more damage coming from Slimy Salamanders. You know, usually you want to have a little bit more bruiser type, especially going up against a Rona. If you try and build pure defense in a lane matchup against a Rona, she's just going to tear through you. So I think there will be a need for a little bit more offense out of the Grace. Rogue, I like the fact they banned away this Black Feather as well. Again, keeping Evol safe. The Black Feather and Taka are the two strongest counters to the Celeste, and they have made sure that Slimy Salamanders will not be getting either of them. So I like the way that they're drafting around Evol. You know, they want him to be this hard carry for the team, and they're setting him up to succeed.
Yeah, I think that's really good insight. And it's not just Evol himself. It's the fact that this team has recognized how strong Celeste is, that if you could just protect her, if you don't give the team any direct counters to Celeste, she's going to carry the game for you, assuming Evol plays it well, which we definitely know that he can. And a Catherine on top of that. This is going to be an insane front line that's going to be very, very difficult for Slimy Salamanders to even try and get through.
I love the Catherine into the Idris. In 3v3, we talk about all the time, Catherine was the hard counter to an Idris. I think that still holds true to an extent on 5v5. So, like you mentioned, that big, beefy front line, it's all about protecting the Celeste with this composition.
Well, now that the picks are in, let's zero in on the players that we need to watch for this one. Flash, please.
Louis Vuitton Don coming out of the side of Rogue, definitely one of the newer guys coming into the VPL. Had a great week one start. He can definitely step it up and continue to develop that just a little bit more. But yeah, he played really well, especially on this glaive in this first game. His afterburns were absolutely on point. He was always making sure he was getting onto the heroes, leading to a fat triple kill against Nova Esports right there. And then just, again, more glaive gameplay, making sure that he's putting out the most amount of damage for his team possible.
Yeah, this was one of these guys. I saw numerous teams wanting to acquire him, wanting to get his services on their roster, and it is for a reason. He is such a strong up-and-coming talent. But on the other side of the rise, we have to talk about Xenotech coming onto this roster last minute as Pico no longer on the team. It is now going to be Xenotech going forward. And this is a guy that, again, we've seen throughout the scene. He's been on numerous teams before, but has never quite been able to get that real winning combination. And with the way Slimy Salamanders have looked, the synergy he's going to have with a lot of these players. You know, he's played with Rex, he's played with Iraqi Zoro, he's played with a lot of these guys before on other teams. So that synergy should already be there right from the get-go.
All right, well, the game is just about to start, but we have time for a quick thought on today's matchup. This is a contest between two Titans, undefeated teams. What's going to be the key to the match?
Definitely making sure that they're executing their objective control.
Yeah, objective control, and again, keeping your carry safe. Both teams are focusing on just 1 or 2 damage dealers.
Awesome. Well, we are live right now on the game. All right, let's.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are live and into the second match of the day for North America here in the second week. We have Rogue versus the Slimy Salamanders. I'm Humanist, and I'm here with Denominate Noms. This is going to be a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, definitely should. Rogue came through with some really fantastic plays last weekend, specifically Evil here on this Celeste. Very, very good at recognizing when the enemies are channeled together, and we all know what Celeste can do when you all sit on top of each other. So we'll have to see if Rogue can have a similar performance this week, as we've got a pretty difficult opponent. Slimy Salamanders has been one of those top teams, but they do get a little bit sloppy into the later stages of the game, so I'm interested to see how they can really have an effect on that now that they have Xenotech here on the roster.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how that's going to play out as well. I mean, already off the bat, it's just kind of interesting rotation, a little bit different than what we've been seeing, is all 5 of the Salamanders shoved mid and then immediately split across the map instead of fighting over like the early scout cam or movements into the jungle.
Yeah, and Status has done a great job. He was the one to invade and is going to be able to get level 2. He's taking away the Treants as well, which is going to give him some healing, give him a pretty decent level spike, and that's going to be a good start there for Status. Already approaching level 3 here, just 2 minutes into the game.
Well, Status is going to be going ham on this Idris, and I'm excited to see Status back to a position where he can regain his former glory. One of my favorite all-time Vainglory players. And across the map, it's going to be pretty normal. What would you be expecting? Louis Vuitton done down here in bot up against Xenotech. I think both these heroes can pretty much stand their ground unless rotations happen. I wouldn't expect any solo kills to happen there unless they get into one of those kind of like chicken situations where they just duke it out to the death.
Yeah, we'll have to see, as now the Salamanders, they are coming through their own jungle. They are starting to clear that out. Status already approaching level 4 and has the gold in pocket to get that heroic perk active, the Divergent Path, that's going to give him those ranged attacks. He's also picked himself up some boots, which means he's likely going to be looking for a gank attempt here in the near future.
All right, boots are out. Status boosted up and ready to go pretty much at this point. In the meantime, it's now, you know, Dominic, you're the color caster, you are the analyst here. How are we calling the player of month's name?
I believe he requested to go by Jason, so that's for future reference in this match. When we say Jason, we are talking about JFMAM, JJASN.
We're talking about Raffle LeMayo, 4 the splash damage, 2 first bloods, the double blood coming on through. Is the old men collapse down and delete 2 from Rogue? What players?
Yeah, 2 kills on the board here early. The Salamanders taking that lead. One going over to Iraqi Zoro, and the other one getting picked up by Status. He did not even have to use that boots proc, so
Status?
he will still be
He's
looking
for more. He's on to Jesus. Jesus, run! No, the shock from the basic attack. Status getting an easy kill. He's got that weapon buff on him, and Sibs is gonna look up, get up here to try and force him back out of the lane. He'll get stunned up by old man Jason, young man Jason. Status is going to respect this, force out. Mixi just stays in the lane, keeps shoving the lane down. Now Rekt has made the rotation up to top as well. Are they going to be able to catch someone? Are they going to taunt it back? Sibs with a healing flask at the last minute, baiting and then jumping back in. Sibs living on the edge here as the Salamanders continue to apply pressure. The turret taking a lot of damage here. Jesus, back up into the lane. You got to respect this talk at this point. Now, is Status just baiting here? What's happening?
Well, unfortunately, I cannot see the flask cooldown, and I've missed if he's used it yet. I assume with how forward he was playing, he's probably still got it, but here we go. Here comes Rogue.
Who's got it now? Mixi, a squishy target, but able to reposition and get back. Status, in the meantime, drops back. He's going to go in and get that healing regen. and then now move back up into the lane. This turret's going to be in a bad place. Also, Jason's low, Sibs is low, and Iraqi Zoro, he's made the rotation up. Drifting Dark, the Malice and Verdict is going to splash on through. I'm pretty sure Rogue are going to be forced back. They should be losing this turret.
Yeah, they most certainly should, with the 4-member rotation coming out of the Salamanders. Excellent play out of Iraqi Zoro there. Forced up the mid wave, made that rotation, and Celeste does not have the damage yet, nor the wave to actually put any sort of hurt on that turret, as we see only a sliver of the health gets taken. Now Iraqi Zoro returning to the mid lane with Rekt, who's going to be on that Captain Tony, who we saw have a fantastic performance in the last game, and now they found Evol. Can they get the kill?
Ooh, they found him! But Evol not having any of that trash talk right now, showing great discipline.
Yeah, absolutely. Good boots out of him to avoid that trash talk. Gets him out alive. Otherwise, certainly, that would have been another kill going over to Iraqi Zoro. But now here comes Rekt, Mixi, and Iraqi. They're coming in.
What a core clap.
Good stun. Yeah, excellent play out of Evol there.
Excellent. I like the predictive stuff. Like, even if it's not going to follow to anything, it's always nice to see just a skill shot land. Now, Iraqi in the Drifting Dark. You see the Catherine move up, and the huge damage comes on through. Jason goes down. Now the damage starts to pile up onto this turret here. And the Salamander's taking a few turret shots. They're going to respect it. Wait for the next wave to get on down here. But this is a 4 versus 2 situation here. Rogue feeling thin across the map.
Yeah, and Status right now is a very scary threat that the side of Rogue have to deal with. With that weapon buff, this Idris is...
Oh, he got the Vanguard, but taunted back. What a play. He just got wrecked.
Yes, he absolutely did. Sibs is going to fall there. 2 kills on the board for Iraqi and Status, and 1 on the board for Mixi. 5-0 lead right now for the Salamanders. Not a whole lot going in on the bottom lane down here, but oh, that Solar Storm almost taking out Xenotech. Not quite gonna do that final little bit that he needed, but still gonna force him back.
Forced back, maybe he'll take a little bit of jungle. In the meantime, Jesus was making a little space up in the top lane, playing games with Rekt and Mixi, not able to collapse and hunt this Taka down. So now he gets in their jungle, looking to take something away. Doesn't find anything. Just kind of the rotations in between the lane movements here.
Yeah, and I specifically like the rotations that the Salamanders have made moving forward on the top lane specifically. We know what a threat that Taka can be. This is on 3.1, so Taka making it through the draft at all is actually kind of surprising. But knowing that is what's happened, they've gone ahead, made sure they make the rotations up. They've starved Taka out as much as possible. And that's going to be Status picking up another kill.
Status just threw a chakram through and just deleted Louis Vuitton.
I mean, Status is hella fed right now, in all honesty. He's super fed.
Up, dude. Go kill somebody. Status, if you go farm right now, I will take back everything I've ever said good about you. I wouldn't do that to Status, but I was betting it.
He's not going to go get the kill yet, but they are going to secure that Ghost Wing. That is going to give them that additional regenerating barrier, which can have a huge effect in the team fights. We see them all kind of grouping up a little bit as far as Rekt and Iraqi are moving back together. Status making an aggressive push down here in the jungle, though.
He's going to look for the chakram. Shroud step back, reposition. There's a jump forward. Xenotech missing with the Holy Nova, but the chase might continue here. Salamanders looking to catch a target. Bada Boom's going to knock Evil into the jungle. Is he isolated enough that they can follow up? He takes a little bit of chip damage, but not too much. Now it's a 5-man rotation from the Salamanders. Aces High will connect onto Evil. How did that connect into the little fight? They put Sims to sleep. Cancel the gauntlet. Shimmer strike forward. His Status is going ham. Don't find 3 kills. They don't lose anybody. In the meantime, Jesus is up in the top lane, pushing as his team yells, "Jesus, help us!" But he can't. All he can do is push as this Taka. He can't stop this domination that's coming out of the Salamanders.
You know, in the time frame that he had, I do think Taka pushing that top turret was the right call. Picks his team up 2 extra turrets worth of gold. The Taka alone at that point in the fight would not have been able to come and save that central turret. They did not lose their armory, but hopefully it's enough to get Evol online. We see the Shattered Glass complete, but he's not going into that Clockwork second item, which is what we typically see out of Celeste. The ability to spam out those Heliogenesis a little bit faster, and the energy regeneration, definitely something that Evol is going to need in these fights.
He definitely will, but I mean, you hit on the point, right? Like, as a Celeste, if you're going into Eve as your second item, It means like either you're doing great in the game or you're just like, shit, I need to actually sustain myself because I'm not going to be killing anybody. But this is a way that you can kind of hold lanes, keep yourself in a fight, and that's what he's going to be doing. So it's going to be the third item impact for him as the game goes on. Salamander is looking to potentially collapse down into bottom as Louis Vuitton done, and it's going to be Jesus getting forced back here. 9-0, 10 minutes in though, the Salamanders have a commanding lead at this point.
Yeah, they do, and you can specifically see that in some of the builds. We have almost a 10,000 gold lead at this point for the Salamanders. Taka, while he does have some defense and the Storm Crown, he is lacking any actual team fight damage.
Boom to start the fight off. Jesus, he's gonna stay alive, but just barely. A nice gauntlet by Sibs, splitting this fight apart. They're both dropping down low, but nobody's died just yet. All on a nice edge. Jesus first to drop. Wrecked will go down second. Xenotech tries to stand his ground, but Rogue will be able to find the second kill of that fight, second kill of the game. In the meantime, though, Mixi and Iraqi Zoro able to shove down the top lane. They're going to take that first base turret down and get out cleanly. So a nice call out of the Salamanders, but it does allow Rogue to at least pick up 2 kills.
Yeah, they pick up 2 kills, and when you're behind, going even or even just getting anything is really beneficial. Status actually was able to clean up the kill onto Evil in the lane. So 2 for 2 trade, but that turret objective does go over to the Salamanders. So Rogue, they pick themselves up a couple bounties, but is it going to be enough to get them really back into a controllable part of this game? As Status, rubbing the salt in the wounds down here, takes that healing camp right underneath the nose of Louis Vuitton, and he's now going to regroup with his team, looking for another Ghost Wing.
Looking for the steal, Sibs flashes Protege, not able to get in there and steal that away. It's okay, right? Not the end of the world. They're still, Rogue are still definitely in this game, even though they're kind of on the back foot, right?
Yeah, they definitely are. Anytime you have a Celeste, there's still a possibility for you to win. Even if, realistically, all 3 of your armories are destroyed, you can find a fight where if Celeste is able to get that big Helio damage and pick off a couple kills, then you can start to turn things around, specifically if Black Claw is on the map, which we're still a couple minutes shy of. So if they can hold out, as Evil is getting into a little bit further portion of his build, he's got the Shadow Glass, went the Spellfire second,
yeah.
And while that does help with that Mortal Wound, he just doesn't have the complete spamming capability that we typically see out of a Celeste at this point in the game, and Status is absolutely just having an insane game right now.
Blast Tremor will buy a little bit of time. It looked like Rogue was potentially going to be losing heroes at this point. The Armory dropping incredibly low, but the Salamanders are going to go ahead and reposition. Now, this is a 4 versus 5 for the Salamanders, as they have Xenotech down in that bottom lane, chunking through turrets in the meantime. So if they can keep the heroes pinned up here, if they can keep Rogue pinned up in this top lane, it would be great for them. Louis Vuitton rotating down. He's going to force Xenotech out. So now a clean 4 versus 4 situation. Armory, one more hit. It would be going down. A nice body block by Jesus, but it eventually will go on down. So Rogue hanging around here, but really not getting anything done. They don't get any kills. They don't protect the Armory, and nothing else taken across the map.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Salamanders, once again, regrouping. Black Claw will be on the map in about a minute and a half, so we'll have to see if we even make it to a Black Claw take to end this game, as we see the remains of the Rogue base right now starting to look pretty injured right now, I guess is the easiest and nicest way to put it. As that top armory has been destroyed. Again, Taka just never got that mid-game spike that he really needed, never got the chance to actually push that top lane in the lane phase. And I think that's really been part of where Rogue has suffered the most, is Taka has really not had any sort of impact. He's been unable to get any good ganks onto Iraqi Zoro or Mixi, and it's just Salamanders in complete control of these team fights. There's we have the Storm Crown on the Taka. We also have the Carry Arden, who only has a Storm Crown and an Aftershock. So just there's not a ton of damage, sustainable damage for the side of Rogue right now.
Rogue, a little bit of pop damage coming out onto Iraqi. They turn it around. Iraqi with the Corrupted Genius keeps himself in fighting shape as the splash damage starts to rain on through Rogue. They're going to lose the turret. Look to get back. Aces High just threading the needle kind of off the mark there. Not threading the needle in the way you would have liked it. And looks like they'll go ahead and get back off the back of that one. But they're at the point now, Denominate, where it's like, You know, this game's throwable, right? Like Salamanders couldn't have thrown the game until they were at this point. They have the lead. Now we could see the exciting plays.
Yeah, we absolutely could, as another Ghost Wing is going to go over to the Salamanders as Sibs tries to make the steal.
That was actually a nice
VPL.
attempt, much closer than last time.
Yeah, well, he made it out this time.
Yeah.
So that's pretty beneficial
too.
Yeah, yeah. So there's always that, but another Crystal Treant is going to go over to the Salamanders. Now Black Claw is on the map. There's no vision here by the side of Rogue. The Solar Storm is down for another 18 seconds, almost coming down to that 15 mark, and now it's just going to be a fight chosen by Salamanders.
Get over here! Who are they going to go for? It looks like Jason first. That's the Cat, the tankiest target on the team, dropping down low. Fountain comes out to the last minute. Looks like they turn it to Louis Vuitton. Louis starts to spin, stays alive, but the Fountain comes out for the Salamanders as this fight gets absolutely turned around. Rogue on the run, dropping all across the map here. Taunts off the mark, but Evil, he's got nowhere to go. The slimy Salamanders able to take 4. They'll shove down mid lane, and honestly, they can just close this game out right here and right now.
Yeah, they absolutely can. With 4 down, there is no contest here for the Vayne, and that's going to be Salamanders taking the game here over Rogue. Unfortunately, Celeste just never really had the chance to have a big impact. Status went absolutely off this game. 8-0-6 here on the jungle. Idris, Shattered Glass, Alternating Current, Broken Myth was able to get the picks early on and keep the wave forced up in that top lane. And again, kept the Taka behind. Taka never had an opportunity where he could snowball Mixi in that top lane, which just resulted in Mixi having more of a build, and they had the system.
Another great finish. Slimy Salamanders takes the win and remains undefeated this preseason. So, what was the difference in the math, guys?
I mean, it was just Slimy Salamanders looking like a cohesive unit, all playing together, all playing as one, and Status going off this game.
Yeah, Status went absolutely ham on that Idris pick. I think Rogue came into it with a pretty decent strategy, trying to protect the Celeste. The thing is, though, Slimy Salamanders had so much AoE damage. The CP Idris dropping those chakrams through their entire team. Samuel with all the splash damage in the backline. I actually think Slimy Salamanders' macro control could have been a little bit better. I think that if Clash was in their shoes, they would be taking the armories much quicker with those Ghost Wings, but it was great stuff.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the highlight from this game.
Yeah,
what do we got?
This is one of those situations where, again, you see just how much damage that shotgun does. It only hits one target that time, but it gets everyone so low that it's enough for them to pull the trigger and go in. And then a beautiful play from Samuel here, just ripping through all the members of Rogue with those Malice and Verdicts.
Arden's Gauntlet getting canceled, which is very unfortunate and definitely a huge reason why Slimy Salamanders was able to win this. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. They needed to press their advantage right here. They should have been able to take this armory. I think even if they die to take this armory, it sets them up so well for the entire rest of the game that it would have been worth it to trade that out.
Yeah, and they had just won a team fight. They know that they should feel like they are the stronger team at that point. Even if another fight happens, they are likely to end up winning it again. So I completely agree with that. I think they should have gone for that armory push. Obviously, it worked out for them in the end. So you don't want to go too hard on that criticism there. But it is something that, like you mentioned, against other teams, they will need to improve that.
Absolutely.
Well, it's time to talk about our final matchup of the day now. TSM looks to move to 3-0 as they take on Nova Esports. Guys, TSM has looked great so far, so keep it in mind we might have somebody biased at the table. What do you think is the secret to their success?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows I'm a TSM fanboy, so there's the bias.
No, come on, man.
But no, it's TSM has just looked so strong. They came together very, very quickly as a roster to be able to gel and mesh this quick is very impressive to see. A lot of times you see teams have like that learning period where they kind of get to know each other a little bit better, but they have just come out very strong, all cylinders firing.
Yeah, they played really well. I was really critical on them, making sure they go back and watch some of that macro control that Clash had. Hopefully they don't let me down. Hopefully they're able to execute how I feel teams should be executing. This is against Hammers last week. Of course, 2-0 start, nothing to sneeze at. They still executed well, given the North American meta doing what they thought was best, but you can always improve. There's always room to improve. It's just the preseason. 5v5 is still so new, can't be too critical on any of these teams because a lot of them are still working very hard to try and figure a lot of these things out.
Yeah, and I mean, the way that they've been able to just find team fights has been very impressive. Like you said, a little bit sloppy towards the end of games once they feel like they have that, you know, dominant control that you need to clean up when you're facing against other top teams. But for now, it's been working out for them. Would like to see that cleaned up, but they are definitely looking like one of the teams to beat in North America.
Looks like it. But Nova Esports had a rough time in the preseason last Saturday versus Rogue, but they rebounded with a win on Sunday versus Tilt Rehab. So one of the most important players is Lone Delphi, and here is what he had to say after the match. Really sloppy games this week, but glad we got the win today after only playing with Lexel for like a week. We'll be way better once we get more practice together.
And that's kind of what I was talking about before, about teams having this growing phase, this period of time where they need to get this synergy on and get themselves on the same page. Lone Delphi expressing basically that exact sentiment right there. So looking forward to seeing what they're going to be able to do. And well, they got at least the experience in the long, drawn-out games, having the longest game of the preseason last week.
Yeah, teams and players want to be comfortable with making mistakes now and learning from them. Don't be scared to play aggressive. Don't be scared to hesitate. Force yourself to your absolute limits, because if you're making mistakes now, you can make adjustments by the time this real regular season kicks in. But if you're playing safe, if you're playing scared, you're not putting yourself into those opportunities to have those learning situations. So that's definitely something that I want to see out of all the teams across the board in both regions.
All right, so speaking of socials, don't forget to follow us on our brand new Instagram account. We are posting exciting, can't miss content every single day, and it's the only place to see behind the scenes stories and moments from the VPL. You can find our Instagram at Vainglory Esports. All right, guys. So the draft between TSM and Nova is just underway. So let's take it to you with what do you think? What do you think we're going to see here?
I'm expecting to see just kind of more of what we've been seeing throughout today. A lot of this focus has been on the Celeste, and things like the Tony has been picked up a lot, focusing on taking Kroll off the table. A lot of teams have done. I don't really expect that to change. The one thing I've been really surprised by in North America thus far has been these Graces and even Arden last game going for largely tank builds with like one crystal item. I don't really like it.
All right, so it looks like the draft is coming up here, so let's go to the pick and ban. Pick and ban. Let's see that sweet graphic.
Do it.
Ban, do it.
Give it to us. Come on.
It's like the equivalent of like going for a high five and just like, there it is.
All right, there we go. Jumping into it. All right, so it's already underway, which is good stuff. Tony coming off the board. TSM not hesitating at all to pick the Kestrel. Is this the first Lyra that we have seen make it through to this point in the draft thus far today?
No, we did see one Lyra earlier. We saw one Lyra get, it was picked in the exact same spot. We have not seen the Lyra first picked today, but we have seen it first picked on the B side.
Banned quite a bit, though.
So has been banned very frequently, but this time the Celeste takes her spot in that ban. So not too surprising to see her get through. The Kestrel, though, being picked up by TSM. We did see, I believe, Kaz actually took that last week in one of their games and had an amazing performance with it. So looking forward to seeing if it's going to go to him or if it will be one of the other carries for the team. That's one of the great things about Kestrel is her flexibility.
Yeah, so there's a lot of range out of the side of TSM, but they are squishy and they are going against a Taka. Lone Delphi, monster Taka player. That's something that if Nova decides to put Delphi on that, he is going to potentially have a field day in the back lines of TSM. If they're not careful, I think they're one step ahead, though, and definitely setting up to protect those squishier carries.
Both the Rona and the Kroll taken off the board. Those are the two premier bruisers in a 5v5, so we could be seeing something else be put into that role. You know, we've seen plenty of carry Catherines, we've seen the Graces, so things like that could definitely be coming out this game. We'll see where they decide to go, but the Fortress, again, a little surprised that we haven't seen Fortress featured as prominently, considering in the solo queues and the ranked queues, Fortress is the highest win percentage of any hero on 3.1.
Yeah, so looking at Nova's draft now, This is either going to be a lane, or more than likely not, a lane Taka with Fortress coming out of the jungle. One thing that I have seen North America play a little bit of, though, is some lane Crystal Power Lyra. I don't believe we've seen that at all yet this season. Maybe one time, I don't really remember, but that's definitely an option for Nova Esports if they feel like going a little bit off meta.
Yeah, it would be definitely a bit off meta, to be sure. It's not something we see very frequently. We saw when Lyra first came out, a couple of people tried to make it work. It kind of faded away with some tweaks and changes, giving her the bonus health on her sigil, kind of pushed her into the captain role. But with the rest of this composition, with a Fortress on there, you never know if the Fortress is going to go captain or if it's going to go into the Crystal route. You do have that Sky, though, which is another one of those heroes that can be flexed into either weapon or Crystal, depending on what you need. So I like this flexibility that Nova is setting themselves up for.
Alpha coming off the board once again. Definitely a pick we have seen a bunch today. Picked or banned, so definitely high priority for these teams in the Sovereign's Rise meta. TSM wrapping up their draft with the Scarf, though. That's a little bit interesting considering they already had the Samuel. So we're either going to be, my guess is Hammy's going to be on the Scarf in the top lane. That's something that he absolutely loves playing. He plays it super well, and the amount of objective damage that Scarf can do definitely tailored toward that EU macro play style.
Not only that, but if you have Churnwalker with a few targets chained and you get one person stuck on top of a burning goop, it is spreading so much damage to the rest of the team. So I want to see this Churnwalker be amazing. We've seen it a couple times on 5v5. It hasn't really, been overly impressive with compared to what we saw at the tail end of 3v3. I want to see these plays start coming out because it's such a fun hero to watch.
And not just spreading out that damage. If someone's trying to run off the goop, you can just pull them right back onto it.
All right, with the picks in, who are the players that we're going to be watching this match? Let's start with you, Flash.
Shade of Talent, my boy, my replacement on behalf of TSM. Definitely have huge expectations for him this season. I know I hinted at retiring quite a bit last year. It took me forever. I didn't want to replace myself with someone that I didn't feel could fill my shoes well. Shaded Talent has done absolutely that, especially in the first 2 games thus far. I've been very happy with his performance. He's very driven, very mechanically skilled individual player, and I definitely look forward to watching him grow throughout this season.
Yeah, it definitely was, when he was with Vision Gaming in 3v3, was one of the key components to the fact that they were able to make it so far and look like such a strong team. But on the other side of the Rise, for the Nova Esports, Truth, I think, has to be one of the players to watch. Right up alongside starting all over, Truth is like the second part of this 1-2 punch of these hard carries that this team has assembled. And last week, we saw him absolutely go off on a Vox in one of their games, and of course, just really stepping up to the plate as we expect from him. He's one of these players that you constantly expect to be having amazing performances, especially with the Vox, especially with the Idris. Those are his 2 standout heroes. I want to see him be able to bring a few more heroes up to the level of those 2.
Absolutely. Very mechanically gifted, skilled player doing big things in the Sovereign's Rise. Him and starting over, kind of like the deadly duo, if you will, and definitely going to have some big things coming out of them this year.
All right, so the game's just about to get underway, but before we begin, can you give us a quick recipe that Nova might be able to pull a win from this whole thing with?
Nova has the mechanics, absolutely. They need to make sure that they are figuring out and matching TSM's macro game.
Yeah, reflex blocks are going to be key, making sure they don't get stunned up in bad situations.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we are going to join the game right now at Sovereign's Rise.
That's right, we're on Sovereign's Rise, and thank you for joining us here in this game. This is the 3rd match of the day for North America, TSM versus Nova. I'm Humanist, at least I think I am, and I'm definitely with Denomine.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Humanist, as we've got this game between Nova and TSM starting out. And as Flash mentioned, they've got kind of the deadly duo there with Truth and starting all over. But TSM, arguably the best team for North America in Vainglory 5v5 right now. It's going to be a tough matchup for either side.
I didn't realize we were playing mid only right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a strategy as several of the teams have been doing to try to get some aggression going down and get the ability to push into your opponent's Crystal Treant. But we see a good rotation coming out of Nova here. They're trying to do the same.
Yeah, a little bit of the same strategy coming back and forth. Now the hook and chains and the damage coming out through, spelling kind of a disaster for the early game here out of Nova. And Eddie, you're in a bad place. Still get popped with the Corrupted Genius. His first blood goes over to TSM.
Yeah, first blood to TSM. Unfortunately, no Kaku for the Taka there. Unable to go invisible, unable to get out safely. So that's going to be a little bit of gold going over to TSM, as well as they were able to steal away the Treant from Nova's side, I do believe. And they're now focusing on clearing out their jungle, obviously giving Chuck that healing Treant, so that when he returns to the mid lane, he will be healthy enough to go ahead and sustain there. Actually, he's going to recall and pick up probably a couple crystal bits.
Yeah, it's nice if you have that moment where you can go ahead and recall. You just get out to the lane, have that slight advantage you'd like to have. And Shaded Talent doing a great job to just kind of be annoying and hold the lane here. Doing a great job 2 versus 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shaded Talent is actually a very good churn walker, so I'm excited to see what kind of plays he's able to set up here. Bacon was mentioning if someone's standing on that goop, specifically that we're still in 3.1, the damage over time is still at full as opposed to the burst. So that would be kind of some interesting damage that gets thrown around there. Obviously, Lyra and Fortress here in the mid lane, starting all over. I'm going to carry Lyra starting with the Storm Crown first.
Yeah, this is it's an interesting hero, I think, for starting. Oh, 3 Glimmer shots, but the 4th not landing starting. He's low. I don't know if he used that healing flask already, but TSM, like the wolf is at the door as they're onto the turret here. 3 minutes in, a little bit of chip damage coming out. TSM will juggle that turret aggro off. The pull back into the goop starting, taking good damage, but more damage coming out from the turret onto Shaded Talent. So Nova doing a good job at least to make sure that turret's proccing the damage there. Up in top, Truth trying to get the go onto Hammy. Hammy able to turn it around and stay alive. Nice play by Hammy there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see the damage that Chuck has already... Oh, hold on.
Cause makes the rotation. One more Glimmer, one more attack. A nice Kaku coming out here. They'll kill each other. I don't know, actually. It's Kestrel gets the Taka, Taka gets the Samuel. Well, that's going to be kill going both ways. Nice play.
Yeah, in the mid lane, we obviously have a quarter of that turret already taken down by Chuck. So Scarf, one of the best heroes at taking objectives, you know, maybe rivaled by Celeste Kestrel. Oh,
Truth just jumped Cause. Cause was able to stand his ground with the healing flask, turns it around, a couple glimmers, puts him down.
A good play coming out of Kaz there. Up 3-1 on the side of Team Solo Mid right now, as Kaz also going to try to clear out some of the jungle. The healing camp was there. Important to make note, TSM is going to be going with 3 crystal carries. And then obviously Daniel likely going to be that kind of tanky frontline carry for the weapon power. And Kaz got a fight here with Eddie. Can he make the fight happen?
He could potentially trade it out. Nah, doesn't have the glimmers, and he'll be taken down. It's kind of a sticky situation there, but Eddie Alex, he's going to be okay. Gets himself out.
Yeah, he's going to get himself out, but he's also going to find that his healing camp is not there. He's taking a lot of damage from the weapon tree and unable to finish it.
Oh no, that's so troll, dude.
Yeah, Eco left him a little bit too soon there, and he had to recall. So overall, Kaz did die. But that's a lot of time wasted here for the Taka as well.
Daniel taking a lot of damage down in bot. Erica getting a slight advantage in this 1 versus 1 situation as they look to trade there. It's really interesting between the Black Feather and the Sky, because if you can kind of avoid the on point or avoid the forward barrage, you're avoiding a lot of the damage coming out here.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to be a little bit easier for Daniel to do as he gets his Rose offensive, the ability where he can both get a little bit closer to Sky as well as edge himself just out of that forward barrage. Now is Chuck and Kaz coming here in the mid lane looking for starting. Starting knows what's going on. It's a sigil into the bulwark. They stand their ground, but the goop damage actually pretty significant here. Kaz connecting on a couple glimmers. Starting, what do you do? Are you actually just trying to bait it out? Are you that cocky? Oh, one shot! Dodged out here. What a calculated teleport back, and starting dips behind the turret. He'll be just fine. Starting playing with fire, has that healing flask, and that's why he's doing what he is doing. Shaded Talent, a little pull back there, you know, and now starting though, he's much more vulnerable because he does not have that flask. Yeah, you are absolutely correct there. Kaz and Hammy now cleaning out the jungle and just trying to keep their experience
They're gonna go
coming.
on Chuck. Can they pop the baby dragon? One more attack. Eddie's got him. But now the turnaround potentially coming on through as Kaz makes the move into mid. But Shaded Talent with 3 hook and chains. It's Nova taking the damage. Eco with the healing flask. Kaz 2 more attacks. He's able to get that kill. And that is not what you're looking for if you're Nova. Cause he stands his ground, doesn't even try to get back. There's nothing he can do. Now starting, is he going to go down to Shaded Talent? Shaded Talent, the merciful player, able to not a Clown Walker, because Clown Walker would have taken that for sure.
Yeah, definitely instilling fear into the enemies. Definitely something that the new Churn skin can do. Shaded Talent does have that weapon buff, so unfortunately not going on the most optimal target. But the fact that they had it at all means that the side of Nova did not. But now Chuck is looking to try to force this wave up again. Scarf, one of the best heroes.
Truth keeps hanging around when he's incredibly low. That's how he died before, and he was very low. Hammy just put him down with a simple Malice Inverted combo up in that top lane.
And now, not only is that going to be mid-turret, it looks like Hammy is going to be able to get that top turret as well. Excellent use of the minion candy up here by Hammy. That's going to secure that turret a little bit quicker. He's going to have the time to get out, have the time to shop with that 1,200 gold he's got in his pocket, 1,300 gold he's got in his pocket.
I mean, what a place to be right now. Hammy, level 7, takes the kill, takes the turret, and as the rotation comes in from Nova, both players are level 5. So it's like, potentially, they could have got a kill if they were a little bit higher level, a little bit further into their movement, that rotation before the turret goes down. But it's just like everything is going the way of TSM right now.
Yeah, that does appear to be the case. We do have 6-4, so not everything is going TSM's way. But looking at the objective control, you most certainly would say it is. We've got about a 4,000 gold lead in favor of TSM. Hammy going ahead, feeling safe, farming this wave up. And Truth has the poison shiv, but doesn't have a ton of damage yet on this glaive, which means, yes, he can get into that backline quickly. Yes, he can apply that mortal wound, but he doesn't really have the ability to contest Hammy or even really cause at this point for damage.
4 from TSM onto the T2 turret here. One more attack it'll be going through. It's just a little glimmer shot coming out of the CP Castrol here. Now TSM, I'll go ahead and reposition back. One shot flies on through, connecting big damage. Daniel jumps on forward. The bulwark's down as Nova looks to potentially turn this around. Daniel, low on health, he's able to get back, but Hammy's made the rotation from top lane into mid. In the Drifting Dark, you gotta respect what the Samuel can bring to the table, but now it times out. The portal forward starting's made the call to feed his fortress. On into the fight, feeds too. His ego goes down. A double kill comes on through for Cause as TSM turn that engage around, and I think that's one that Nova wishes they could have back.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like Truth missed the Arcane Passage a couple times, actually, and that may be part of why he wasn't able to get in. He was quite healthy, but was unable to soak up any of that frontline damage that the team needed him to do so. So as of now, we've got 9-4 in the lead for Team Solo Mid. They also have a substantial turret lead right now with 3 turrets down. And they have all their standings, so TSM feeling comfortable. They take another, so now 5 turrets remain for the side of Nova, and might have a little bit of a collapse down here in the bot lane.
Yeah, potentially, if that's what Nova wants to do. Death from Above is going to kind of zone out this choke point here, but TSM will now easily take the turret, and they can decide to move forward if they like to. They have a lot of damage output here. Cause just sits on the backside, Hammy as well, and a little Torment. Playing games with Starting. Starting can go ahead and portal if he does get caught. Eco, Erica trying to land as much damage and defend this first base turret, but it's going to be going down here. In fact, they've lost Erica. They might be losing some more. Dragon's Breath comes out. The baby dragon's going to burn them down. Thinking Oblivion landed as well to set that up. They'll go into the armory. Deleting the armory. We're 10 minutes in. Come on, TSM. Get them. Stand your ground. Get in there. Finish this game. Don't be scared. It's okay. They'll show a little bit of respect here. Mature players and get back. What poise, what patience out of this Team Solo Mid squad.
Yeah, they don't have Von C anymore, so apparently there's a little bit of fear in the fight around that choke point, and Erica Kane just going to go ahead and clean that out. I do like what Truth did, though, when that bottom push started happening. He was in the top lane, he recognized that he had a captain wave with another wave on the way, forced that wave underneath turret, recalled, knowing his minions were able to push that objective by themselves, and was able to rejoin his team with a fairly decent time frame, at least. So not the worst loss for them there, but they do have to be cautious as their base is cracked open in that bot lane.
Well, right now, I'm just looking at the items across the board, and there's like literally, I'm not sure I'm seeing a player on the map where you'd like to be, like, if you're Nova. Like, the Sky hasn't completed her second item, hold that. We might have a fight, we definitely have a fight breaking out. No, we just have a dead hero. And that's going to be Hammy going down here. Nova catching Hammy out. Now Truth standing his ground. Doesn't have... Well, I didn't see if he... No, the Afterburn was going to be on cooldown there. Starting, caught out, ports back. They'll take the portal and look to follow as well. Dragon's Breath will go ahead and burn him on down. Getting the kill with the ultimate. That's what you like to do there. Doesn't happen all the time with Scarf. And Eco will go down as well. As Nova able to get one kill, but then get picked apart.
Yeah, you're absolutely on point with that, Humanist. It was a matter of TSM. They did lose out on Hammy, but then turning it around for 4 kills, not the best situation for Nova to be in. I'm a little curious why Erica Kane has gone with the Frostburn first item in this matchup. Blackfeather, the only front line, I would have liked to see a little bit more of a punish and try to force that fountain out early, possibly use the Death from Above. You can spread around that the Mortal Wound coming from a Spellfire, so I would have liked to see a little bit of a different build path coming out of Sky.
Yeah, I would have liked to see an Ozo myself as well. Truth, get out of that one. And it's got a nice take on the Ghostwing there. TSM able to get back a clean take. We're 12.5 minutes into this one, 15-5. Advantage, a serious advantage going over to TSM. And honestly, this is going to have to be some pretty godly plays coming out of Nova if they're going to turn this one around.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct there, Humanist. TSM, they're trying to force up the mid-wave right now.
And they're doing so incredibly successfully. Tuck taking a bit of damage, but connecting on his Spitfires as well. They're going to hang around. Still have that Ghostwing buff. So he lets that go ahead and build up on himself now. Death from Above kind of splitting them apart. Erica trying to dance, but getting taken down. There's no follow-up. And TSM, they're going to move through. The second armory's down, getting onto the Bane Crystal. Looks like, why not get some kills? Pad your stats here, guys. Come on. Let all the stats keepers have some fun as they get a couple more kills there. That's going to be the Bane Crystal getting taken down. As TSM, well, they'll take this game in about less than 13.5 minutes here. 19-5. 13K plus 14K net worth advantage. This is a serious domination for TSM.
Yeah, absolutely. And I bet we have a happy Flash X over on the analyst desk who's talking about the team being more aggressive like EU, and I think we saw it here.
That's my boys taking that W in dominant EU fashion. Perfect macro control. Seriously, we talked about a little bit in practice this week that they need to know what they're doing as soon as they got the Ghostwing buff, and it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that was a great push. Two pushes, really. The one push in the bottom lane and then a push in the mid lane that were exceptionally well executed. For me, especially that bottom lane push was absolutely flawless.
Yeah, what a match. And so, can you both take us back to the pivotal moment of the game for you?
Definitely that bottom lane push. As Tasty just said, they took Ghostwing. They had an opportunity for it. There were no turrets down in this bot lane. There goes number 1. They have a wave pushing with them. Coming up on number 2, executing the pressure
This was
so
a
well.
huge mistake by Nova, though. Trying to come in through that entry into the lane, TSM was already there, and they just completely stopped at that entryway. Now all of a sudden they have to go to the next entrance into the lane. They get stopped there as well. So you have to go behind your turret when you're going to try and make that defensive rotation. That's something that I've been talking about. I want to see teams learn how to defend these pushes. This was a masterclass in how not to defend against a 5-man push. You have to come in from behind.
Absolutely. Seriously, so well executed by the side of TSM. I'm super proud of them. All the turrets and the armory done in one swift push. Like Tasty said, Nova really needed to come in through their turret. There's no reason not to try and use the safety of your turret to your advantage. Not only did they get stuck once, they got stuck twice. Starting had used his portal, or Truth had used his portal over the wall into his base. Definitely a waste. He could have used that to kite if he was caught out in a different way. Definitely unfortunate, and it was just basically TSM take the second Ghostwing. All right, time to end the game, and they did.
And it was also just great execution by TSM. You know, as much as we're going to say, Nova has to rotate differently there, but TSM recognizing that that's how Nova was trying to rotate. That's why you don't make that rotation, is because the other team still has to capitalize on it. And TSM did a great job of recognizing that rotation and saying, you know what, we're just going to throw a bunch of damage that way, put up basically a wall of damage that you cannot pass through, and force you to go around. By the time you've already gone around, your turret's already down. It was such a strong push.
It's been an exciting end to the day, and what a day it has been at the VPL Preseason Invitational. So can you give me your overall impressions on the competitive gaming we've seen thus far today?
A lot of growth out of all the teams. In all seriousness, I'm biased, but I think the most I think the most growth out of TSM adapting that macro playstyle. Super good. The results for North America: Tribe over Vision, Slimy Salamanders over Rogue, and then TSM swiftly taking down Nova Esports.
Yeah, that Slimy Salamanders kind of the only real upset or surprise victory that we had throughout the entire day, because as we go and look over at Europe as well, you see Team Queso took down Equinox, Clash defeating Rising Lotus, and in the final game of the day, Salty Potatoes takes the victory over Wolves. But that was a very close game. For me, arguably going to be the game of the day. And it was because it was so back and forth. There was an opportunity where it looked like Wolves were going to get the victory, especially off the back of this Ghostwing fight. Even though they didn't get the Ghostwing, it was Salty Potatoes that stole the Ghostwing buff. That just makes this fight even more impressive, because Wolves were able to take this team fight, and it really did feel at this moment like it was going to be Wolves' game to win.
Yeah, Wolves definitely huge improvements from week 1 as well. Would have been really interesting to see, had they gotten the Ghostwing, what they would have been able to execute on the back of that push. Unfortunately though, Salty Potatoes showing some great resilience, able to maintain their composure and be able to bring it back, and unfortunately take the win.
Yeah, another great fight to end that matchup for Salty Potatoes. Get themselves a victory, stay undefeated in Europe as well. So very impressive stuff, again, on both sides of the pond.
Well, we have another full slate of action for you tomorrow, so let's take a look at the schedule right now.
Yeah, you can see
that.
right off the bat, we're going to be starting with Team Queso versus Wolves, Equinox and Rising Lotus, and then Clash and Salty Potatoes, a battle of the unbeatens.
Yeah, definitely going to be the premier matchup of Europe for sure. North America, Hammers taking on Vision to start things off. Tilt Rehab following up with Slimy Salamanders. Both of those teams not having played today. I'm sure they're antsy to get on to the Sovereign's Rise tomorrow. And then Tribe and Rogue, probably one of my favorite matchups to look forward to tomorrow.
Fantastic. So before we say goodbye, it's time to update you on the winner of our social media shout out. We have a winner in Miss Terry, who will be awarded the brand new Vainglory hero Maline, free of charge for reaching out to us on Twitter. And if you didn't win today, please make sure to, you can check her out right now in the store, or tweet at us tomorrow for another chance to win. She's a really complex hero. Please try and unlock her right now. So we are going to be back tomorrow. We have Flash X, we have Tasty Bacon. I'm Erica Ishii. Thank you so much. Join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific.
The advantage of their power spikes here. Like Neonfire thinking about jumping onto Zeo, but they don't see that Gabe Bizzle's made the rotation. He's put into the infinite reboot. Old School's here. Neonfire is going to get booted up, but taunted back and taken down. Tribe up 9-3. Blood Boom on forward, blocked off though. The turret's going to fall. Pulls low, he's going to go ahead and get back. It should be the armory going down here. I don't think Tribe should be even losing any heroes at this point. They'll take the armory. Could even stick around if they wanted to, but this is damage, but not too much. Now, it's a 5-man rotation from the Salamanders. Aces High will connect onto Evo. How did that connect into the fight? They put Sims to sleep, cancel the gauntlet. Shimmer strike forward. His status is going ham. They'll find 3 kills. They don't lose anybody. In the meantime, Jesus is up in the top lane, pushing as his team yells, Jesus, help us. But he can't. All he can do is push as this Taka. He can't stop this domination that's coming out of the Salamanders.
In the time frame that he had, I do think Taka
point here, but TSM will now easily take the turret, and they can decide to move forward if they like to. They have a lot of damage output here. Cause just sits on the backside, Hammy as well, and a little Torment. Playing games with Starting. Starting can go ahead and portal if he does get caught. Eco, Erica trying to land as much damage and defend this first base turret, but it's going to be going down here. In fact, they've lost Erica. They might be losing some more. Dragon's Breath comes out. The baby dragon's gonna burn them down. I think an Oblivion landed as well to set that up. They'll go into the armory.